you guys for joining us on Robert Garcia Unfiltered. We had a few big announcements that we wanted to talk about a little bit, with some fights getting announced at the gym, and obviously the big heavyweight fight between Oleksandr Usyk and Anthony Joshua this past Saturday. A few thoughts on that, and just today we had a few other fight announcements. Top Rank announced a show for October 30th. More stuff on Teofimo Lopez and Cambosos that we'll get into. But we're gonna start off with the fight from this past weekend. Oleksandr Usyk and Anthony Joshua fought for the unified heavyweight championship of the world in, I think, the Tottenham Arena, something
in London, you know?
London, yeah. Huge crowd, 66,000 people. Anthony Joshua, one of the biggest draws in boxing. Him alongside with Canelo, and there's a few other guys, but at that top level, Anthony Joshua and Canelo are at the top of the drawing power in boxing right now. But he took a unanimous decision loss to Usyk. I thought the judges had it a little bit closer than I thought. I had like 9 rounds to 3. I thought he completely dominated Anthony Joshua. Usyk, a lot of feints and footwork, and just was able to outbox him. And the 12th round hurt him at the end. The bell sounded before it should have, like 10 seconds before. If not, it could have been
which fight was that we were watching in Mexico, and Mikey was there actually.
Mikey was commentating. It was one of Berichet's.
Was it?
We were in Cabo. Berichet fought. Yeah, Berichet fought that day.
But it was that
something
fight,
like
or
I don't remember, but it was
where I think the promoter went up to the.
They went up.
To the
Mike said he saw them go up. Yeah.
Bring the fucking bell.
Mike said he saw them go up.
That's just crazy.
Yeah, but again, Usyk with a big unanimous decision win. What did you think of the fight? What did you think of each man's performance?
A great win for Usyk. Being the smaller guy, and Joshua so big and so talented, actually.
Both Olympic gold medalists.
Yes, I think the odds were in favor of Anthony Joshua to win, and I believe I thought the same thing, but Usyk is always has been a very tricky fighter. His style is pretty awkward, it's difficult, and tricky, because you don't know exactly how he's gonna fight or what he's gonna do. He is a little tricky and awkward inside the ring, and he did what he had to do to win. I think this was one of those cases where finally the boxing world is starting to realize that maybe Anthony Joshua doesn't have the heart for the sport. Maybe he is a very athletic person, and if things go his way, he dominates and wins. He's a great champion, but when things get tough, he doesn't find a way to overcome that, and he just gives up. That's it happened with Andy Ruiz, but then he came back and beat Andy Ruiz. So I think he's gonna do the immediate rematch, and he might be able to beat Usyk in a rematch. But there at that fight, Usyk surprised him, and he didn't have any answers. He couldn't do anything about it. He just pretty much gave up at that moment and let the fight go. Gave the fight away. I think it has to do a lot with his heart, because I'm sure he's dedicated. He's in great shape, great athlete, but I think his heart is the problem.
I don't remember who it was at the gym that we were talking to about when do you know that, like, to maybe call the fight. I'm not saying Anthony Joshua was in that situation where you call the fight off, but where you tell him like you have to go for broke. Like, you've lost, out of the first 10 rounds, you've lost 8 of them, 7. You're not gonna win the decision. He didn't have that hunger to go out there the last few rounds and go for the knockout. He just played it safe the whole time, and I think that's what you're referring to. That he doesn't have that killer instinct to say, I'm losing this fight, I'm gonna tough it out, and I'm gonna show you guys that I could win. The one time that he did have a fight like that was with Klitschko, where he got dropped, he came back and knocked out Klitschko. But ever since then, he's been like a completely different fighter. He's been behind his jab, mostly playing it safe. You referred to the Andy Ruiz fight. The Andy Ruiz fight got tough for him, and he looked like he gave up in that fight. The rematch, he was able to win, but I think that had more to do with Andy coming in fat and out of shape and not training for the fight. I mean, no credit. I mean, it sounds bad to take credit away from Anthony Joshua, but Andy Ruiz didn't even train for that fight. Usyk is not Andy Ruiz. Usyk is gonna go in there. He's gonna be better the next time they fight.
Yeah.
He's gonna go up a level now. Like you said, the smaller man coming up. Usyk was a undisputed cruiserweight champion of the world. This was a huge win for him and his legacy and for the whole Ukraine, and it's just a big win.
His team.
What do you think about Usyk and his team now and where he's at pound for pound?
You know, they have a great team. You know, with Klimas being the main manager. You know, Lomachenko was the big name, big star, but Usyk being the heavyweight champion of the world, there's no way anybody else can compare to him. You know, that was a great win for the team. It was great performance. The country, you know, I'm pretty sure he's the biggest star ever out of their Ukraine, right?
Yeah, they had Klitschko's too.
Well, yeah, but you know, these guys did different. You know, he did something special, and you know.
Go on your phone real quick. Let me see your phone. Go on box track.
They're gonna be, you know, they're gonna be there for a while. It's not like he's gonna. No sé cómo sale. You know, he's on top of the world, man. Heavyweight champion of the world, man. The way he did it, the guy he beat, it's unbelievable, man.
Where do you rank Usyk now, pound for pound? Obviously you got guys like Terence Crawford, Canelo, but Usyk I think just passed pretty much everybody. The only one that I would say has a chance, because maybe his career's been longer and he's been through bigger fights like that, is Canelo. But even then, I would maybe put Usyk above Canelo at pound for pound. Where do you put Usyk now?
Well, you know, I think there's many ways of choosing who pound for pound is. Me personally, I like to choose pound for pound on skills in the ring, like Canelo. Great skills, great defense, great power, complete fighter. You know, Crawford hasn't really had the opponents.
He hasn't had he doesn't have the resume
but I
of
should
these
think
guys.
he's pound for pound.
Yeah, he should be
number 2 or 3. Spence has a probably better resume, but you know, between them two, it could be 2 and 3.
Yeah.
You know, either one of them. Usyk, he's awkward, he's difficult, he's crazy in the ring. You know, he takes the challenges, he takes the risk, but me personally, skills wise, I probably still pick Canelo over him.
Canelo, yes, but not the other guys, right?
Probably even Crawford and Spence, because I'm telling you, skills wise, you know, accomplishments.
But skill wise,
accomplishments. Well,
Usyk is way past
he already became. He was undisputed.
Now he's unified,
and now he's super heavyweight champion of the world. So accomplishment, that, you know, being a super heavyweight champion of the world, it's huge. It's huge. You know, it you know, can't get any better than that. Heavyweight champions, you know, are the best, you know. But me personally, I like to choose skills, and I like the Crawford, the Spence, Canelo skills better than Usyk's. Styles, you know, I think they're just better. Accomplishments, yeah, but there's other fighters that are more accomplished than Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford, you know, he hasn't fought very big names, but I like his skills. Yeah. He's got great skills. Yeah, great.
That has a lot to do with it, but
so it depends.
That makes sense.
I pick skills.
You have him in your top 4.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
Like him,
definitely.
You have him with Canelo, Crawford, Spence, Inoue.
Yeah.
Maybe, you know, there's
Inoue still, you know, people.
Little guy,
you know, he's a little guy, and maybe he'll never be remembered as a heavyweight champion of the world is. But skills wise, I think he's one of the best too.
Since one of the things too that's being talked about a lot, and one of the reporters, I forget his first name, I know his last name is Montero. He was talking about Usyk's all-time greatness in terms of being the greatest cruiserweight of all time. Mm-hmm. He said he made a list of all the reasons, but the one that caught my attention the most was Usyk's fights since he's been world champ. He fought for the WBO cruiserweight title versus I can't pronounce the last name. The last name was Glowacki, who is from Poland. He went to Poland and beat him in Poland. Uh-huh. He defended against Michael Hunter, who's from the United States. The guy before from Poland, 26-0. Then he fights Michael Hunter, 12-0 in the United States. He's from the United States, beats him. He fights Marco Huck, from Germany, in Germany, and beats him. He fights Brides, who's 23-0 from Latvia, goes to Latvia and beats him. Then he fights for the undisputed against Murat Gassiev, 26-0. Goes into Russia. Gassiev is from Russia. Goes in there and beats him. He fights Tony Bellew. Defends his. By this time he's undisputed already. He's undisputed by the time he fought Bellew. I don't know why this isn't popping up. Into his hometown and beat him. Beats Derek Chisora and Anthony Joshua in their hometowns. Pretty much all of it. He hasn't had a title defense or his own homecoming.
So pretty much he doesn't even have a promoter. Pretty much
he's just fighting in other people's hometowns and beating everybody
and everything,
and just fucking them all up.
From what it seems like,
all undefeated.
It seems like when Klimas brought in Gradovich and Kovalev and then Lomachenko. At first, you remember Kovalev and Gradovich, they didn't even have a promoter. No. They could, Klimas couldn't find them a promoter. Then they, came in Lomachenko with a 2-time gold medalist. Well, he went straight to top rank.
By that time, Gradovich at the time he was top rank.
Gradovich was already, and I think Kovalev with main events. But it looks like Usyk was one that they couldn't really find a promoter, or else Klimas would have signed him with top rank or
early on. I don't know if you remember here. I think it was here at the Forum. He fought on a Golden Boy show. He fought on a Golden Boy show, like on HBO or something like that. Like he was like the co-main event or the opening bout on a Golden Boy show.
Signed him, or else he would have been with him.
But with him, I think because he jumped into the tournament. He jumped into that tournament where nobody in the tournament, like there was no promotional obligation to the tournament. And after the tournament, I don't think he had to. Now he's with Matchroom, obviously. So that's.
So is he with Matchroom?
Yeah, he's with Matchroom. Okay, he has like a certain amount of fights with Matchroom.
He's in good hands, and Matchroom
Road Warrior. He's going to everybody's hometown and fucking him up.
And Matchroom is going to have a great champion for a while. I think Joshua's going for. I think he's going to beat him in the rematch again.
Yeah, he's going to beat Joshua.
He's going to beat him in the rematch because he is going to get better. Like you said, Andrew Ruiz he came in worse.
Yeah,
partied too much, had too much time off, and didn't train as hard. I think this is going to train even harder. I think he will beat him in the rematch. I think that showed that in boxing, one day nobody even looks at you, but then you're on top of the world, and now Usyk is, and he's the man in boxing right now.
With Usyk, obviously Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury had announced two big fights for next year and all this and that. Obviously this, messes up everybody's plans. If Usyk is able to beat Joshua again, how do you think he does against both Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury?
Well, I think you have trouble because they're too big. Even though Joshua's big too, but Joshua doesn't have a heart.
He fights on the outside.
He doesn't have a heart. I think
these guys are more.
I think those. Oh man, I like Usyk, the way he fights and everything, but he might be in trouble with those two.
I think he would beat Deontay Wilder because he's so big. Big guys like that shouldn't be moving the way Usyk moves. Like he's light on his feet. He's like not as much as Lomachenko, but like that kind of style where he's bouncing back and forth, side to side, using a lot of feints. And Deontay Wilder's really bad on his feet, I think. But I think with Tyson Fury, he has a lot of problems. I think he's able to beat Wilder pretty not easy either because you have to be careful because of the power. But I think he's able to box him and turn him side to side the way Oscar did to like Trinidad and those kind of guys that weren't that light on their feet. They weren't good on their feet, and if you're able to bounce side to side, even though they have the power, you could neutralize it with.
Well, there'll be good fights. Great fights that are going to happen. Great fights that are going to happen, and that should happen, and hopefully we can see them sooner than later.
The heavyweight division is it's stacked.
Right now.
Speaking of the heavyweight division, we have ourselves a heavyweight turning pro. October 15th, we have a big card in San Diego, California. The main event is Joel Gonzalez and Navarrete. Navarrete defending his title at 126. But the undercard, there's going to be like 8 fights?
Probably like
8 or 9 fights.
We got 6.
And we got 6 of them. The co-main event will be Giovanni Santillan, who's from San Diego, fighting in his hometown against, I forget the other guy's last name. He trains with Manny Robles and stuff. But Giovanni Santillan fighting in his hometown, San Diego, California. On the undercard, we have Javier Martinez from Milwaukee. We have Lindolfo Delgado, Raymond Murataya, whose fight in September on the Valdez card got canceled. He will be fighting there now. We have pro debuter heavyweight Antonio Mireles from Iowa. From Iowa, turning pro, 6'8", 270-pound southpaw heavyweight. Yeah. Turning pro, he just signed with Top Rank before. And then we have Arturo Cardenas from Saguayo, Mexico,
Saguayo,
also
Michoacan, turning pro.
Saguayo, Michoacan, Mexico, turning
Yeah,
pro.
he's Arturo Cardenas is he was in the Mexican national team. I think the junior division. I think it was. But he's got quite a few fights, good experience, and this will be his pro debut. I think
122 pounder.
They're all gonna be on ESPN Plus. And who else do we have?
That's it. Those are the 6 for that card.
You already named them?
Those are the 6. It was Giovanni, Lindolfo, Raymond, Javi, our heavyweight, and then Cardenas. The next day, we're finally, announcing Mikey coming back, fighting in Fresno, California, October 16th on DAZN. On the undercard, Jesse Bam Rodriguez will be fighting for his first world title against world champion. What's the guy's name? He's from Mexico City. He beat Concepcion for the title. He went into and it was a small show. Actually, we were watching it with my grandpa. We got home. I don't remember where we were at that day. That we got home late, and my grandpa was searching through the channels, and then boom, these little guys are fighting for a title. And we're like, oh shit, that's the WBA champ Concepcion, and he gets stopped.
He got knocked out.
He got knocked out.
Esteban Bermudez.
Esteban Bermudez, there it is, the world champ.
Bermudez knocked him out, and I think this will be Esteban Bermudez's first title defense. Yeah,
first title defense. We'll be fighting.
Bam. We all year since last December, Bam hasn't been able to fight, and we've had dates, but then the fights get canceled, or no opponents, or whatever, something. The commission doesn't approve it, and Bam was patient enough, to stay in training camp, and when we learned that Mikey was gonna fight, the first thing that we told Mikey is like, please get Bam on the card, because I've been trying so hard, and I'm talking to everybody, to get spots, to get a spot on any card for Bam to fight, because Bam works with Mr. Honda, but Mr. Honda can't fly him to Japan because of
COVID restrictions.
The restrictions.
He has to be out there for like a month.
Yeah, exactly. So so we haven't been able to do it. So we couldn't get him in. We couldn't get him a fight. So I told Mikey, get him on that card. And Mike said, okay, he's in the card, no worries. So we were, hoping, something solid, a good fight. But we told Mikey, tell Eddie to see if he could call in Esteban Bermudez. He's the WBA champion. He just knocked out a solid champion that was undefeated from Venezuela. He's champion, so see if they could do it.
They didn't have a fight lined up.
There was Bam was going to be in the card, but we still didn't have an opponent or anything. So I told Mikey, just give it a try. Why not give it a try? So I guess Mikey mentioned it to Eddie, and Eddie told him Bermudez is going to fight.
Scheduled to fight
Higuchi.
Yeah.
But so we're like, all right, well, at least he's going to be in the card. But then I think it was like during the week, Mikey showed up to the gym. And Mikey, it's funny because I kind of knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. Mikey wasn't motivated. Mikey wasn't excited about the fight. So Mikey tells us that same day he was going to tell us that he was going to fight. That he wasn't going to fight. I'm just gonna wait for a big fight.
Wait for Regis.
Hopefully, but before the end of the year we could do the fight, and hopefully we could fight Regis. But I don't want to take this fight. It doesn't motivate me. It doesn't.
He didn't want to do it.
Exactly. He was going to cancel the fight and the show. But before he got to the gym, he got a call from Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn telling him that he was able to get Bermudez to come and fight Bam on this card. So Mikey decided not to cancel because Bam is fighting for the world title. So that's a true story. Mikey, is staying with this fight and keeping this show. And it's actually going to be a good show. Yeah. Rick Morrigan is doing a great job.
Fresno's going to come out and support.
Fresno's going to come out and support.
Oh, ringside is already sold out.
Yeah, the Northern California, Stockton area, wherever in Northern California, Bakersfield, everybody's going to show up because it's going to be a good show. Rick is doing a great job, and Bam is fighting for the world title. So that's what Mikey keeps telling us. I'm not even excited about my fight. I'm excited about watching, being there for Bam to become world champion. And, we can't look ahead of time because obviously the champion is a champion. He knocked out a champion, and we got to respect him. but Bam is bad. Bam is good, and you know, if everything goes well, he's gonna come out as a world champion. You know,
Hopefully everything.
anything in boxing, anything happens. You know, but hopefully we do come out with a win, and it'll be a great weekend in boxing because we're gonna have 8 fights.
8 fights that weekend.
8 fights that weekend.
With Mikey's fight versus Sandor Martin from Spain, just like a little, because there was a lot of stuff going around about Mikey and Regis, and to clarify like a lot of that stuff, because even Regis and his manager spoke to you, they spoke to Mikey, they knew what was happening.
Yeah.
But as soon as the fight got announced, they obviously went to social media. Regis did, and the same with his manager Sam, whatever, I don't know his last name, I forget, I can't pronounce his last name. They went on Twitter and they were kind of complaining about Mikey taking the fight, but they knew why Mikey took the fight. There was the original plan was for Mikey and Regis. They both kind of called each other out on Twitter and this and that, so they were supposed to get the fight going. What took so long with getting the fight was the stuff with Eddie Hearn with Canelo. Canelo was supposed to be fighting Caleb Plant September 18th, and Eddie Hearn was trying to get the fight on DAZN. Obviously, Caleb Plant and Fox and them are trying to take the fight to Fox, to pay-per-view and stuff. But when that fight fell out, the original, I mean, like everybody remembers, that fight supposedly was dead. So then they started negotiating Canelo versus Dimitri Bivol. And then all this stuff starts getting worked out, and so Mikey kind of had to wait a little bit. Was like, okay, I'll let you guys figure that stuff out, because then Mikey's date might get changed, or maybe Mikey. There was at one point where Canelo and Bivol got canceled as well, where they told Mikey, maybe we could put you September 18th, but it's not going to be against Regis. Yeah. It's not going to be against Regis. It'll be against Regis at the end of the year, because the budget isn't big enough to have both of you guys fight. But we'll have you like your comeback fight, and Mikey didn't want that. Mikey originally said, no, I want to go straight into Regis. Then they move it to October 16th, and the same thing. They say, we can't put you
Mikey
against...
said, can it be against Regis?
And they said, no, the budget is not... We can't do it...
Just because of the budget. No,
there's no
other reason.
We can't pay you what you would get paid for that kind of fight, and we can't pay Regis for that kind of fight. Do you still want to fight? And like we said, Mikey he had already basically agreed to the fight with Eddie Hearn, but it hadn't been announced yet. And then on a Friday, he said he was planning on coming to the gym and telling everybody, I'm not gonna take this fight. Like, I don't want, like, there's nothing about it that motivates me. I want to go straight into the Regis fight, even if it takes a little bit longer. I'll wait, and I'll fight Regis later in the year, in December, November, whenever it takes. But I'll fight him. And then Eddie Hearn messages him and tells him, hey, I got you the WBA World Champ for your boy Jesse Rodriguez to fight. And Mikey says, let's do it. I'm not going to cancel the show.
Yeah, so that, obviously Mikey, for putting him on the card. I want to thank Mikey.
Eddie Hearn,
Matchroom, the opponent.
Kevin Rooney.
Kevin Rooney pushed for it. I know he did, because I was talking to Kevin Rooney I've been talking to him for a few years, because I haven't talked to Eddie since I gave Eddie Mikey's number. Honestly, he doesn't fucking answer my phone calls anymore since I gave him Mikey's number. But Kevin Rooney does.
He did. He busted a blow.
A what?
The movie Blow.
Oh yeah.
Remember when he gives him his connect and they stop calling him?
Oh, Eddie, Eddie he used to call me at the time, and I used to call him, and he would answer my phone calls. But the day that Mikey told me, I just give him my number. I give Eddie Mikey's number, and since then I haven't.
You've been talking to Kevin Rooney since.
I've been talking to Kevin Rooney, but it's cool. Kevin Rooney's cool. He's a good person, and he's been pushing for it. I know he's been pushing for it. He's been on top of it, and I know that also had a lot to do with it. So thanks for all that pushing and supporting Mikey. Obviously, Jesse's happy. DAZN, Matchroom, we're all happy because we are getting the title, and a lot of things in the future. They have a lot of the champions.
They have a lot of guys that want to weigh 112, 115.
115. So I think Bam is in the right place. I think we have to take it fight by fight, but Bam's in the right place.
That does it for this episode. I don't know if you had anything else that you wanted to talk about.
Any fights coming up? Or
no, nothing. There's nothing big this weekend. Next week, obviously, we get Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. Then there's a lot of fights coming up, because then Shakur Stevenson, Jamel Herring. They just announced Chon Cepeda versus Jose Vargas. It's a good fight, October 30th in New York. There's a lot of fights coming up. One of the things with Teofimo's fight keeps. Now they're saying
they might move the date again
to the day Mikey fights, October 16th. But Cambosos hasn't agreed to it. Like, it's just a mess with
Because I'm supposed to fight like on a Monday or something.
Yeah, but they want to switch it to that Saturday, and Cambosos is the one that's not signing off. He says, no, we're fighting this day, and it's just a mess with Teofimo.
Yeah.
But again, that does it, guys, for this episode. Like always, thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe to the channel. What else? What other? Do we have anything else that we're planning on going on live for? Nothing coming up, right? Just still Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder. Next week we'll be posting more videos and stuff going into the fight, and then post fight we'll go live again. I know we haven't gone live in a long time.
The fight's gonna be next week already?
The 9th.
The 9th. Oh,
the 9th, October 9th. So this weekend's the 2nd. Is there, unless I'm mistaken, I don't think there's any big fights this weekend. And then the 9th, that one. So yeah, that does it for this week's episode. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week.